that what really motivated or that spawned that shift?
Well, it has nothing to do with consciousness and awareness and the ability to be more with God and more in tune with nature.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with that. It's just another method to exploit.
Money.
Essentially, money is just a medium of exchange.
Exploitation, in other words.
What they want is white domination. They use white supremacy to do that, and they use a defense mechanism called white racism. So we have white racism, white supremacy, but the objective is white domination, which they have over the planet Earth, unfortunately. So the process they're using, this is not the first time this has happened in America. This is about the second largest movement they had in so-called health.
Okay.
That the only remnant of the first movement is the salad that people have with their meal. That was the first big health movement.
Oh, that was the first big.
And the only thing we have
salad.
left from that is the salad. And for some reason, people don't like to see naked food, so they dress it up with salad dressing. So
Yeah,
it's
they
just
cover
a
it,
stupidity that goes on. But it's eventually going to get absorbed into allopathic medicine. Most of the naturopaths today are taught to do minor surgery and write prescriptions in America. So it's eventually going to get absorbed right into allopathic medicine.
Okay, so as you can see, the settings for white control or white domination, white supremacy, or white control of that method of healing. Do you think that also within that same control that things will be twisted more from their true purposes?
It was never started out. You're looking at a crooked tree and trying to get a straight piece of wood.
Right.
So you're looking at the Europeans, and it's not going to happen.
So
it's a crooked tree, and you're not going to get a straight piece of wood from it.
You don't see domination as being European dominated then?
The way that the system is, they control the media. So essentially, that's thought. And they unfortunately work from a family structure, which is what I don't think black people see. What gives them their strength is a family structure. That's what gives them strength.
Elaborate a little bit.
We are controlled by families. DuPont, Hess, Rockefeller, Bush.
All right.
These are families.
All right.
It's not a
I hear
country.
that. All right. Names. Hear the names.
It's not a country. It's a family structure. And once we put our family intact, we will have the same strength as they do. We're ruled by families, not by countries, not by nations.
All right. All right. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
That's very, and a lot of these families go back.
Oh yes, you got the DuPont,
thousands of
Hess,
years.
Yeah, they instill in their children. Like Bush was raised and he said, "I want to be a rap singer." His father said, "I'll be damned. We in the oil business. If you do go that way, we cutting you off."
Right.
You can't walk away from the legacy of your family or the legacy of your culture. They don't play that. They cut you off or kill you. Our family is gold. We stay in gold. Our family is oil. We stay in oil. Our family, you see what I'm saying? Silversmith, artists. You stay in that. You don't walk away from the legacy of your family and your culture.
I think a lot of our people don't really understand the significance of the families, these family power structures that really control a lot of things. You know what I mean? Because it's really a few families.
That's all it is. There's a few families
that control a lot of stuff.
Yeah, DuPont, Hess, Rockefeller, Bush. These are families. And until we put our family intact, we won't have the juice we need to get out of this so-called oppression.
All right. Now, when you speak of getting our families intact, let's get into some of that.
Well, that requires emotional vocabulary.
Emotional vocabulary.
Emotional vocabulary is being able to, if you know something of astrology, being able to go from like a Pisces emotion to a Gemini emotion. You should have 12 emotional ranges that you can go through freely. But during slavery and colonialism, they had a catechism where they reduced our emotional vocabulary. Say, "I love you, Massa." "No, Massa, I ain't gonna run away. You the best thing that happened to me, Massa." So our emotional vocabulary was reduced. So we don't have the program to access our own intelligence. That's the problem. Because to access our intelligence requires emotions. That's the first part of your brain that gets fluid, gets electricity. It's the cerebellum, that's the emotional center. That drives everything. If you shut that down, the person can't communicate.
Well, I think that's a very important point. That's a very important point, because I noticed that within this oppressive system that it's projected to not come into a oneness with your emotions.
That's correct.
We're more or less taught to deny our emotions.
Correct.
be hypocritical towards our emotions, and to be emotionless.
Correct. Which makes you powerless.
You see, which makes you powerless.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
All
the
right.
demonization of emotions. Is primarily done by a guy named Sigmund Freud.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, don't trust your emotions. There's an animal in them and it will destroy you. And they demonize emotions.
Yeah, the fraud.
So therefore we don't want to get into that. See that's how you really are. You're really that way. You don't want to have the emotion of anger. You don't want to have the you need these emotions.
Emotions are good things.
I think God created them.
Yeah.
So that makes them good by definition. But we are scared of them, so we are locked down emotionally. So we crave for this ability to be nurtured and soothed emotionally. And that's what causes people to buy a lot of CDs, go to movies, because they're emotionally starving and culturally homeless.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. They can't drive their system without
Emotionally
emotion.
starving and culturally homeless.
They can't drive their system any other way. And that's how all things are sold to us emotionally. That's how McDonald's sells the burgers. That's how they sell cars. How they sell thongs, fingernails, weaves, hair relaxers, emotional.
Appealing to the emotions.
Yes, because they know we don't have the emotion. We're castrated. So we can't reach out for any other emotion that we need.
You see.
The devastation started, as I mentioned, on slavery with the catechism, where you repeat this thing over and over again.
Like
over
a
and
mantra type of thing.
Yes, it's a mantra, a prayer, a chant, an affirmation, these new words
Right,
for all
right.
of that.
Same, yeah.
Same. So we were taught to just say, I love you, Master. No, Master, I trust you, Master. Master, you look out for me. And a lot of black people today still have a master bedroom in their house. And they're not owned by a white person.
That's what they call it, the master
This
bedroom.
is my master bedroom. They're not owned by anybody. It's that same.
It's true. It's
this
true.
thing
It's
is
very
just
true.
over. They just keep repeating this thing in their head. This little white thing in their head. It's a white person telling
So
them.
with that type of way of viewing it, it's very realistic to see how European ancestors remain alive every single day, wherein we don't even remember our ancestors.
We have no emotional connection to herbs, to food, to our ancestors, to our history. That's why we can't. Most black people say, I don't see nothing on slavery. They can't emotionally connect to that. They don't have the vocabulary like a Jew can watch the Holocaust.
Right.
See, they say this gives an emotion. Say, I'm not gonna let that happen to me
Right.
again.
Never again.
I'll die. You said never again. So we don't have that. So, no, I don't want to feel that. No, I don't watch slavery. No, you need to do that because you need to develop the emotional vocabulary to access this thing in your brain that's beyond your brain, so you can free yourself. But that's part of our cultural homelessness. We just can't deal with it anymore. Most people can't even read anything about slavery.
Right.
And we don't have the,
One of the general reactions which is a reaction,
Yes.
I don't know if it's a reaction really, but one of the general reactions that you get is that I don't want to see that, I don't want to hear that, because if I hear that, I'm going to want to go out and go do something.
good. I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
You see?
That's the whole objective.
Right.
That's the whole objective. But we were taught not to trust our history. We don't want to look at our history. We want to go. Who taught us that? Our slave master. You say, no, you don't put anything up about your ancestors in your house. That's
Right.
called voodoo, witchcraft.
Right.
Don't put ancestor stuff in there. But you
We're
put,
talking about Shakespeare every day, and,
oh
and all of the Mother Goose and all these other.
yeah. All that. The thing is that we have to be emotionally connected to the herbs.
Emotionally connected.
And emotions are given to you by your culture. Your culture gives you a belief.